So, Childish Gambino is a bit of a big name in the music industry, and you might know him better as Troy from Community, but he does go by another name. That name is Donald Glover, and you might be asking yourself, where did Childish Gambino come up with a name like Donald Glover? I think I have the answer to that. See, based on some Googling I've done, it seems like Childish Gambino has played video games before, and that got me searching for a game that might link him to the name Donald Glover. That's where I found a game called Glover, and in this game you play as a magical glove who has to save some crystal balls that were turned into bouncy balls because the opposite hand glove sabotaged a potion and made himself into the evil cross stitch. I know it's a bit of a cookie cutter story. A glove has to go and save the day because his magical wizard friend was turned to gold by his evil glove brother, but it's the first step to solving this puzzle of the Donald Glover name. Now, if you look at Mr. Gambino, you'll notice that in all these pictures I'm looking at, he's not wearing any gloves at all. And I think that's because his Donald Glover persona is based on the magician from Glover. Deep down, he wishes that his two magical gloves would return to him, but he knows that they're not going to return, and that's not going to happen, because one glove is evil, and let's be honest, if you only have one glove out of a pair, they're pretty useless. They're not going to keep you warm in those cold, cold winters. Now, there are two very important things I noted while playing this game called Glover. Aside from the obvious, which links the wizard to Childish Gambino that I mentioned earlier, see, Glover, the glove that you play as, and not to be confused with the alter ego of Childish Gambino, can turn this crystal into many different balls. One of the balls looks suspiciously like the rubber ball from the Disney Pixar movies. The other thing to note is that Glover, the glove, not the person, only has 3 fingers, unless you're one of those people who counts the thumb as a finger, in which case he has 4 fingers, but regardless of how you count it, that's a lot less than the average amount of fingers that the person has as far as fingers go. So I wasn't sure if I should pursue Disney or I should spend more time focusing on trying to find 3-fingered people who could fit that glove. That's when I stumbled upon something else. Childish Gambino recently started a Disney film production known as Solo. The fact that he made a movie with Disney must be him trying to guide us down the path that, yes, his name does have something to do with Disney. I continued to dig deep and I came across a Star Wars game that I've actually talked about before called Star Wars Battlefront 2. Strangely though, Childish Gambino's character Lando Calrissian was nowhere in the game to be found, almost as though Disney and LucasArts were trying to hide something from me. I began to research Lando Calrissian and there was one thing that I did find out about him. He seems to really like the color blue, and I spent countless hours searching through the Disney characters who also like the color blue, just out of hopes that I would find someone, and when I thought that all hope was lost, I stumbled upon another Disney game. This game right here is DuckTales for the NES, which, much like Childish Gambino, has some great music. However, there's one thing I noticed about this game. See, it features Uncle Scrooge, as well as Huey, Dewey, and Louie, and this girl duck, and they go around all kinds of places, such as the moon and Africa, inside of a haunted house, and also inside of the Amazon, which is all pretty cool. But there's one key duck character who's missing from this family, and that character also seems to like the color blue. That duck is of course Donald Duck, our little sailor boy who seems to love wearing blue. Now, you probably noticed this by now, but his first name is in fact Donald, much like Donald Glover. And if you need more proof that this is in fact where Childish Gambino got the name Donald from, well, all you have to do is look at Donald's hands. That's right, much like Donald Glover and the wizard from the game Glover, Donald has no gloves on. Ultimately, I think that this is where Donald Glover got his name from, and I hope you enjoyed this in-depth search as to where Childish Gambino got the name Donald Glover from, and hopefully this answers most of your questions. Although it has brought up a question for me, which is why the origin was originally hidden from us in the first place. But that's another theory video for another date, and it might never be made because it might have nothing to do with video games. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this video. It's completely factual, and at the end of the day, feel free to source me if you ever want to talk about Donald Glover. There's another video, and I want to thank you for watching it this far along. If you did enjoy it, feel free to like it, you can subscribe, you can share, you can dislike, you can do all that stuff. At the end of the day though, you don't have to. I just want you to have a nice day.